Good morning. After that interesting game, we're going straight into our topic, which is create a budget. The objectives of this topic is to create a budget to achieve our goals, to understand different budgets, such as the personal budget, the family budget, and the business ones. We're also going to learn ways to adjust your budget to cover for what is called a deficit. Don't worry about the term deficit if you don't know what it means. As we go on, we're going to delve deeper into what a deficit is. So, I'm going to read a number of statements. If a statement is true for you, please stand up. If it's not true, you sit down. I'll also do part of this, so let me get my chair. So if it's true for you, you stand up. If it's not true, you sit down. You like eating ice cream. Stand up if you like eating ice cream. Stand up if you're wearing blue today. Stand up if you've spent money today. Right. Stand up if you have money saved up at the moment. Stand up if you have saved for something in the past. Stand up if you'd like to have some money set aside. Stand up if you know how much money you have in your pocket at the moment. Stand up if you really like spending money. Stand up if you plan in advance how you're going to spend your money. Stand up if you know how much you need for the week. Only 3 people know how much they need for the week, okay? Stand up if you know how much you need for the month. Stand up if you plan carefully how much money you will send to your family this month. Stand up if you know how much money your family will send you this month. Stand up if you are confident that you will achieve your goals. I like that. At least we did goal setting and some are very sure about achieving their goals. Thank you. Right. We're done with that exercise. I have a question. What was the purpose of that exercise? What do you think we were doing that for? Yes.
I think we're doing that so that we can be able to set goals for ourselves, plan, improve our decision making.
Yes.
I think it's about us understanding the importance of budgeting, not only for ourselves, but for others on a monthly or daily basis.
Beautiful. We wanted to get you thinking as we are starting to talk about budgeting. We wanted you to know how much you earn. You start thinking about how much you earn. How do I use the money that I earn? And so that you can use a tool called the budget. So now, in your opinion, what do you think is a budget? What do you think is a budget? Yes,
I think it's a breakdown of how expenses are used.
beautiful. It's a breakdown of how your expenses are. Anything else? What do you think is a budget? Feel free, guys. No one is marking. No one is marking. We don't judge here. We don't judge. What is a budget?
And I'm really surprised.
It's like your pencil, you're highly thinking through. What do you think is a budget? In your opinion?
I think it's a breakdown of how to manage finances.
Okay. All right. Let me open this future for you. I'm going to give you the simple definition of what a budget is. Let Let me just get a marker here. So for the avoidance of doubts, a budget is a tool for making decisions, planning, and using your money in the best way possible to achieve your goals. That's the simplest way we can put it. I'll write it down so that it sticks. And please feel free to jot it down as well. So a budget is a tool for making decisions, could someone please read that for us? Yes.
A budget is a tool for making decisions, planning and using your money in the best way possible to achieve your goals.
Thank you very much. Let's shower them. Reading. There's some latecomers coming, guys coming. Quickly find your seats. Quickly come in, find your seats. Right. Oh wait, okay, I'll wait till you sit. This space. You can get a chair again. So for those who just moved in, my name is Shemaine. I'll take you to the session. Meet a budget. We have already started and we're going to continue with our session. We're going to work with 3 different budgets today. We're going to work with the business budget. Then we'll move into the personal budget. And finally, we're going to look at the family budget. So we're going to be working with different characters from our trainees manuals today. And we're going to help them draw up these budgets. So I'll show you a sample budget over here. What a budget looks like. As you can see, it's written what? My budget. This is what a sample budget looks like. I'll ask a few questions. What are the 3 main parts or 3 main components that you can see that are included in a budget? What are the 3 main parts of this budget? What are the 3 main parts of this budget? Yes, Sandy? Something else? What are you seeing here? The final thing, what are you seeing? It's under expenses. Total expenses are under expenses. Yes. Yes, the savings right at the bottom. Let's shower them. Thank you so much for your contributions. That's correct. And then what are the different sources of income? We're looking at income here. What could be the different sources of income? And you can see there's fixed income, there's variable income. What could be the different sources of income? Yes, a salary. That's correct. Anything else? A different source of income? You're entrepreneurs. Where does your money come from as well, besides salary? I can hear this. Pretend I can hear this.
Oh, it's not
Oh, side hustles. Side hustles. Okay. That's correct. Side hustles could be a source of income, but in financial terms, we can call that the net profit from our business. That's what we can call it. And then why do you think it's important to enter variable income as a source? That's those side hustles. Why should we put them here as side hustles? Yes,
Because they contribute to the total amount of money that you have in your house.
correct. Correct. They contribute to the total income that you have. Anything else? Anything else that we're thinking? So even though variable income is not guaranteed, we need to keep track of how much variable income we get. So that in the event that we don't get that income, we are able to reduce our expenses. That's how it helps us. Now, what kind of expenses did you identify here? What kind of expenses are they on this budget? I want someone who hasn't said anything, even when we're playing the game, we were quiet. Anyway, you got out first, tell us. You set aside. Remember, we did needs and wants yesterday. So essentially, these expenses are our needs. We can't do without them. Then optional expenses, those are our wants. Thank you so much anyway for noticing that. And then, do you have any questions on the main components of the budget before we go any further? Any questions, anything you're not understanding here? Nothing. We're satisfied? Okay. So, yes.
So how do I budget for my variable income? Since it's erratic, it's not fixed. It can come in or out. Like you get jobs that may not be fixed and you can't plan for them. When you're invited to do something and you get payments, how do I then focus?
Right. So when you're doing your budget, remember you do your budget. When do you usually do your budget? Okay, you're not doing one right now. So you do your budget. At the beginning of the month, you'll be planning, right? And then at the end of the month, when you get your money, you budget again. But don't worry, as we go through this topic, within the next 1 hour, 30 minutes, you will see how it's done. Because we're actually going to be doing practical examples. So let's turn to page 47. Actually, no, I want to divide you into groups. I want to divide you into groups of 5. Let's count. So you just count 1, 2. How many are you today? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 18. What want 18 and I want 5 groups, so count 1 to 4. I want 4 groups, count 1 to 4.
1, 2, 3,
4.
1, 2, 3,
4,
1.
3,
1.
2, 3, 4, 2.
All the ones go to one side of the class. Take the chairs, we'll sit together. All the twos sit alone. All the threes alone. So one's here. Check you, but today you don't want to move, eh? It's alright. Can the ones come and sit here? And twos you can also assemble here. Threes here, fours here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Are we settled? So group 1 will work alone, group 2, group 3 on your own, and group 4 on your own. Why are the group 3 people that feel? What happened there?
Because we're 18.
18 divided by 4.
It's supposed to be 4, is this
They're supposed to be 4. Okay, anyway, I'll sort that out and rectify it. Right, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to do this exercise. You're going to read the case study in your trainings books on page 47 in your groups. And then you'll turn to page 48 and fill in that character's business budget. On page 48, there's an empty budget corresponding to our character on page 47. I'll give you 5 minutes to do that. So I'll give you each a flip chart, and you're going to do it on a flip chart. Discuss in your groups. Read the story well, understand it.
So, guys, why are we getting
If there's a group that is finding any challenges, you can just shout, and I'll come. 1%, right? Reducing your groups.
So the state
Are we making progress? The first group to finish is sharp bingo.
budget. So I think it's easier if I take you through so that we see where we are. So it says, okay, I'll skip the reading from the top. She added up sales for the month, including both her retail and individual clients. Sales to retailers brought in $850. So on our budget, we had our fixed income first, and then we have our variable income. So this is variable income because the sales would change, they will vary. So at first, we have sales from retailers, sales at $850. Then we have individual sales. At 500, bringing a total variable income for the month. So here, with our total is 1,250. And then our total before I get ahead of myself. On top of that, she has a steady contract, so it means this is fixed income from a local municipality. So local municipality contract at 1,200. So total of that fixed income is 1,200. So our total income is 1,200 plus 1,350, which gives us 2,550. And then we move on to our expenses. Our essential expenses, which are our needs. Right, so to review the expenses, the first that we have, she set aside rent, which is 250. Rent is 250. Then she has electricity, which is 180. We have salaries. We have 3 salaries, so we add them together and put them in one figure. So we're 500 plus 220 plus 180, which takes us to 900. The supplier costs are consistent, meaning it's also fixed, so it becomes an essential expense. We'll assume it's probably raw materials. And these are at 700. For taxes, Lisa has 100 allocated for professional tax services to ensure the business complies. So, tax services, $100. And then she further allocates another 170 for tax obligations. So tax, 170. Additionally, Lisa plans to invest in expanding her online presence. So we felt this one was a want, because it was an optional expense. So she won't incur it all the time. And we checked it marketing. So our subtotal of our needs, our subtotal for all the needs was 2,300. Then our marketing is 150. Subtotal optional expenses is also 150. Do we have another expense? No. So our total expenses are 2,450, meaning our savings or our income less expenses going to be 2,550 to A, yes, B, and our total was 100.
Let's shower them. Thank you so much. Maybe from the other groups, is this what you managed to come up with? It is. Don't just say yes so that I can help you if you have any challenges or there are any expenses or income that you're not sure about. Is this how it was for you? Right, I'll ask you a question. Does the character use a digital tool to create a budget? From the story, was she using any digital tool? Was she? All right. When exactly does the character draw up their business budget? When? Last day of the month. Okay. So she has to do it at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month. It depends, because remember, sometimes your income comes on the 30th, so you can do it on the 30th, or you can do it right at the beginning of the month. For some people, you pay your salaries, remember, after you've collected all your income. Remember that? And then how much is the character's fixed business income? And their variable income? How much is the business's total income? How much? It's a chorus. Maybe can we have one person? You've been so quiet. How much is it? That's correct. And how much are the essential expenses? When we're looking here, how much are the essential expenses?
2,200.
Correct. And how much are the optional expenses? 150. And then the total expenses? 2,450. And then what does net business income mean? What does that mean?
It means total income less total expensive mitigation net business income.
Exactly, that is correct. So I'll show you. I have done it before. And I'm noticing yours is identical to mine. So it means you got it correct. There's Lisa's business budget, you can just have a look at it. But it's identical to what your groups had come up with. And take a moment maybe to study it, but yeah. Now, out of interest, why do you think this character has this line here? Why do you think the character has this? Yes.
So you have to know how much you're making, so that at least you can budget in the next month.
Beautiful. And then did you notice that Lisa also had her own salary here? Why do you think she did that? Why do you think Lisa had her own salary?
So her personal expenses, she doesn't take from the company money.
Even so that she doesn't mix. And also every single worker needs a salary. It needs to be accounted for. So now you just need to know everyone who is employed by your business, even if you're working for yourself, even if you're working from home, you need to assign a salary to yourself. If you get someone else to come and help you, you need to assign a fixed income check your booklets on the next page, we're working on page 47. So we're working 47 and 48. If you check just on page 49, there's an example. They filled this in for you. So for future references, you can check on that. You have it when you're now doing your business budget, when you go home, use that as a reference. Because after doing this, you also need to try and practice this at home. So we've already helped the character create a business budget. Now, we want to move on and help you create a personal budget. So please turn to page 50 of the books. You're going to read that case study on page 15. You have 5 minutes. If you check the next page, there's a blank personal budget for Lisa. In those same groups, I'm going to give you 5 minutes, just 5, to do a personal budget. Discussing your groups, help each other. If you have any questions or something you don't understand, you can come to me. So remember, this time, you're writing on the future. 100%. See, you are done, and our 5 minutes is up. Thank you, dedication. Okay, I can see where that dedication here is going to take us through their findings.
So it's a fixed income is 500. She uses a mobile app to put the log in salary. Then she enters 500. Then he is up to time income. It's 500. It's 500. Then he is value of income. So it was like easy, and then he Slama expenses. And then our expenses, right? And then she has our essential expenses. She spends 400 familiar. Then she also has short for $50. And then the total is so the total optional expenses is 450. Then he also has optional expenses. He plans to spend $30 if there's a day of visiting. Then we enter $30. And then each total, it's up total, our expenses like it adds up to 480. Then our income is in a business income like $20.
Some business.
It's personal.
Yes. So it's $20. Let's shower them. Thank you so much. Anyone come up with something different? Did we understand that? We did. Right. How much was the character's fixed income? I know he was taking us through it as we were going, but this repetition does it. The more we go over it, the more we will understand it. How much was the fixed income? Does anyone know? Fixed income. Thank you. Yeah, and how much was the total income? Total. Oh, okay. You say fixed was 500 and then total was 500. She had no variable income. Right. And then how much were the total expenses? Total expenses? 480. And then how much is her income minus expenses? What can we call that? You're whispering. Here it's written family, but what does it mean? What does it symbolize? Nadia.
From my assumption, and also from reading her character before, she rents a house with her sister. So I'm assuming the family budget, family contribution would cover a shelter, maybe a man, groceries, property for her toiletries and a child's toiletries.
Correct. That's optional. So some people then have to contribute to the family. So you put it there on expenses. You put it in a nutshell, you explain it correctly. I'll just show you, even if you turn to your books, there's a sample. I'll show you the one I have done as well. Of Lisa's personal budget, so that you can have a look and compare with your findings to see if it's the same thing. Is it the same? Do you think it's the same? It's the same. So it means you guys are on the right track. You are on the right track. You are getting it. So now we're going to go to page 53. Now we're going to try and estimate the character's family budget and the portion to save for them to achieve their goals. You're going to go to page 53. There is case study number 7. I'll give you 3 minutes to work on that within your groups. Work on the characters, fill in the items that are there right now. And the characters family budget. Yes. Start with part 1. Let me give you just so that when we continue with part 2, you'll be able to read it on the same time. So you can read in your groups. This time I'm not giving you 5 minutes, it's much shorter, I'm giving you 3 minutes. And you are now used to it, so yeah. who can come to that? I love the warm smile. Okay. They'll help you as you go if you hadn't finished. As she's setting up, I'll just ask the question, why do the character and her family budget jointly? Why do you think they budget jointly? Why do they budget jointly? Budget together? Yes, Simone. Oh, teamwork, say it again.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Okay, that's a very good perspective. Any other ideas? Why do you think they budget together? Correct. That is very correct. Some of their expenses are interlinked, so they have to budget together. When does the character and their family draw up their budget from the story? When do they draw up their budget? Correct. How much is the character's family's fixed income? How much is their fixed income? Correct. Is that what they put down? Yes. How much is their variable income? How much? Okay. Which one is the variable income? Aliyah, which one is the
The sale of the TV.
The sale of the TV. Why do you think we classify it as variable income? Does anyone know? Yes, education, your hand is up, master. It's like it's up, it's down.
I think it's from their traders.
Not quite. You're almost there. You just tweak it a little. Yes, true. Yes, they're not in the business of selling TVs. So next month, are we going to see the sale of the TV? No, we won't. So that's why it's called variable income. And then, how much is their total income based on the previous month? Based on the previous month, how much is their total income? Total. Total income. Is that an hand up or just reaching? Correct. That's correct. And then, how did you calculate the amount? How did you get that amount of 920? So looking at this, you need to know that sometimes the character can decide not to include all their earnings in the family budget. There things like overtime, sometimes they may not put it in the family budget. They might take it to their personal budgets. You getting it? Now let's go to page 53. There's part 2 there. We're going to give you 5 minutes to continue filling in that budget. That's 5 plus 3 minutes, put the entries, and then now we're finishing off the budget. You're laughing. You did part 2 as well. Yes. I had a notice because I said to do part 1. You guys were very quick. You were very, very quick.
3 minutes.
Huh?
3 minutes.
3 minutes is a lot. Use your time. This is just good. It's just I would like for you guys to come and my class is nice and it, huh? So how much do they plan to spend for all their needs as a family? As a family, how much from this, how much are they planning to spend for their needs? Correct. And how much do they plan to spend on their wants? $80. And then how did you calculate that amount, that 80? How did you calculate it? Where does that figure come from? Someone else? You've been quiet. Yes, you've been hiding behind your glasses today. Yes.
From the 50
Correct. What kind of expenses are those? Yes, they're optional. They don't need them. They won't die without them. And then what is the amount the family and minus the amount they plan to spend? Correct. Does everyone know where we got that figure from? How much money can the family put aside in order to achieve their financial goals? Remember yesterday we spoke about goals. How much can they put aside to achieve their financial goals? Someone is mumbling. I can see you say. Yes, ma'am. Let's shower. All right. Thank you. Your groups have been very efficient. So now you can go to page 55 in your books to see what a family budget looks like. I want you to note that the last line in a budget represented as the difference between income and expenses. That's the most important line in your budget. If the amount is positive, it means you have a surplus. It means you have more money and you have money to put aside. When it's positive, that's a surplus. Then when it's negative, there's a deficit. In other words, okay, does someone know? Can someone explain what a deficit is? If we have a budget deficit, what does that mean? Yes. how may a deficit arise? How can you find yourself in a budget deficit? Yes, Ariane.
Could be when you have too much expenses or debt.
Correct. And it can occur if you have less income. When your income is less than you expected, sometimes you're telling yourself, no, I get paid 720, and then on that month, they don't pay you 720. Or if you budget for overtime, and on that month you don't get overtime, you can find yourself in a deficit. So, how do we calculate the amount that we enter in the last line? How do we calculate that amount? Savings or net business income? How do we calculate it?
Total income less total expenses.
Beautiful. That is very correct. That is very correct. Now, was this particular budget in a surplus or in a deficit? Someone who hasn't spoken. Yay! Sorry? Yes, it was a surplus. That is very correct. And then why is it important for you to keep track of your income and your expenses? Why is that important? What's the significance of that? Simple, yeah.
I think for inflation purposes, you know, there's how much of your money you can try to gain and finance expenses.
That's correct. Now, we're going to go to page 57. All of us, let's go to page 57. It's now your turn. The ball is now in your court. There are no more groups. Groups abandoned. On page 57. I'm going to give you 10 minutes. 10 minutes to try and create your own personal budget. You can write it directly into your manuals. You can put it in pencil in the event that you need to write it out and adjust when you get home, when you think of, oh no, I forgot this, that other money that I'm going to get from so and so that I forgot. Guys, we have to be as practical as possible. So I'm giving you 10 minutes. Fill in that one written my budget. Want a pencil? Chapter 9, the pencil, all right. These are private, don't worry. Keep it to yourself. Who asked for a sharpener? Someone asked for a sharpener. you are done with that. Oh, you're not? I'll give you 1 more minute to complete that exercise. Alright, that's fine. So, I think you've made a few discoveries while you were doing that. You have, right? It's very essential to always do a budget every month. But if you're someone like a retailer or a shopkeeper, I think sometimes doing it weekly could assist you, because after a month to keep track will be a bit difficult. So just always do your budget so that you know where you are. Otherwise, those goals from yesterday, you won't be able to achieve them. We'll have absolutely nothing to say. So now, to conclude, we're going to adjust the budget to cover for the deficit. And we're going to have some tips to save. From your faces and your, what I'm picking up, most of you are in a deficit. So now, we're going to try to help each other. You're going to perform this activity in groups. Those same groups are going to give you 3 minutes to do this exercise. So let's suppose the character and the family have some problems and they don't have enough money to cover their expenses this month. For whatever reasons, they can be different reasons. Let's discuss in our groups some solutions in 3 minutes, some solutions that they can take to get themselves from that negative balance to a positive balance. What can they do if they find themselves in a deficit? What solutions can they take? Maybe you have a paper, each list. Remember, you have 3 minutes. The group that comes out with the most answers in the 3 minutes is getting a prize. And not a star this time. A tangible prize that you'll be able to hold. Sorry? Right. Suppose your character and their family find themselves in a deficit. What steps can they take to find themselves in a surplus so they're not in a deficit? Yes. Right. We have 1 more minute. Right, our time is up. Can we have 1 person from each group coming to the front? 1 person from each group. Guys, our time is up. Simogeni's group, can we have 1 person with your answers? Please come forward. Nancy, can we have 1 person from your group coming forward with their paper? Can we have 1 person from your group coming with their paper? Anya Dalia, 1 person from your group coming with the paper. Right, read out. Please come forward, guys. Time is up.
So, I also choose number 1, sell some property. Cut down on Netflix, HTTP, lifestyle design, solutions. Cut down some old ones, prioritize our needs. Look for additional income streams, decide, request, decide, grow.
That's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Thank you. That's group 1. Let's shower them. Thank you. Group 2. Tell us. Something else. Anyway, please don't, right? Please don't. Please don't.
What's the same thing, but, first one is just cut down the optional expense. Alex, the sister, can look for a variable income, maybe to the carriage. This one is this. And then, Lisa can market her products, different capital, or maybe just introduce new products, product lines. And then they can also look for an affordable accommodation, because we noticed that Agnes got her own room. I don't think it's necessary for a 5-year-old. She can go to cheaper accommodation. And the maids, since already she goes to daycare Monday to Friday. So I'm sure Saturday, Sunday, Alice can take care of them. The niece, she won't be home. So they cut out the maid expense and all that.
So it's all under cut down optional expenses.
And the niece,
Fixed. The final, oh, do you have more? You say what?
I'm not sure what policy you know for expenses. New phones or if data is
You're discussing as a group, please assist her.
You said we cut down to the data.
Cut down the data, so she's cutting down on optional expenses. It's on fixed. Cut down on fixed expenses. Yeah. Anyways, they can't hear you. Increase sources of income. Okay. How?
like reduce our expenses, especially in promotion.
Okay.
Things like 2 weeks of service.
They can do what? Do savings.
Any delay unnecessary purchase.
Uh-huh.
Like 2 impact engines. Like 2 card subscriptions. Like 2 new price comparison purchases. Especially for
Yes, price comparisons, guys.
statistics financial assistance.
From whom? Who do you seek financial assistance from? From friends and family. Mm-hmm. Negotiate bills. Mm-hmm.
Said unwanted assets.
Uh-huh. Sell unnecessary assets. Mm-hmm. Showers, invisible confetti, enterprise. I promise the price. I don't break my promises, guys. I don't break my promises. Remember, even at the beginning, I promised you that you'll be able to create your own money. I don't break my promises. It's outside. I'm joking. He did ask to be excused for a moment. So now there are 2 ways to balance out our budget. You can increase your income or reduce your expenses. You noticed I was writing on 2 different sides. it was, it's going to increase expenses. So we can make adjustments to our expenses. But before we're done, I'm going to give you some tips to increase your savings capacity. You can adjust your budget by increasing your income or reducing your expenses. You can change your habits to spend less. For example, I know some of you, when you spend your day at work, you buy takeaways. Instead of buying a takeaway, lunchbox, scavatina. People will laugh at you for it, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you are making sure you're not in a deficit. You can even buy cheaper clothes or a cheaper phone. Instead of iPhone 16 Pro Max, I'm surprised by entrepreneurs. Instead of having an iPhone 16 Pro Max, you can even downgrade. iPhone 13, their prices are much, much cheaper. The functions are the same. It's just the same thing, different name. So that's some of the things you can do. You can subscribe to a mutual fund to pay for healthcare expenses. I know the term mutual fund is a bit loaded, but don't worry, we're going to cover insurance on the last day. We'll explain what a mutual fund is. Just have it in the back of your mind. Subscribe to a mutual fund. Then you can have money set aside for unforeseen expenses. Savings. When you have extra money, don't go out for dinner and say, hey, I've got extra money. Put money aside. It's very important. And then you can draw up a savings or a debt repayment plan. If you're already in debt, draw up a plan. How am I going to pay these people? Draw up a proper plan. Communicate with the people you owe to get yourself out of trouble and get yourself out of the deficit. Now, what's the most important thing you may have learned today? What's the most important thing you may have learned? From everything that we did, like what's the most, what sticks out for you? Yes, ma'am.
For me, is that I have to make a budget. Because now I was writing down, I noticed that there's so many things that are expensive that I wasn't writing down. And then in the end, you fall into a deficit because you haven't budgeted for them.
Beautiful, guys. Budgeting is essential. Someone who also learned something, say, see your hand is up.
Okay, first for me was what we say right now, we have to change our spending habits. I think most of us are in deficit because of buying expensive clothes, phones, buying takeaway every day. But I think, yeah, I have to change my spending.
I think for me, it's the need to separate myself from my business. I do not work to cover personal expenses from the business, and I need to keep myself separate.
Please do, guys. Give yourself salaries. I cannot emphasize this. You need the salary. So with that, guys, thank you. Oh, yes, Nandi, you want to say something?
I think also, if possible, you budget into the other, not necessarily frivolous, but other small things that you like with. So you put them in your budget so that it's not something that comes up into in the middle of the month and you confuse yourself time. So rather include it in your budget from the get-go. If you know you like to buy ice cream at the end of the month or the end of the week when the week comes and you stress, you'd rather you include that in budget cap and say I can enjoy the week 3 times and the 4 times rather than it be spontaneous.
No spontaneity with money.